I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. It's Oops the Podcast. I am Giulio Gallerati. I am joined by Francis Ellis. How are you?
Happy Thanksgiving, friendo.
Happy Thanksgiving, man.
Yeah, what a day.
What a day. You look great. This is a good look for you. You look like you are on Manchester United.
Well, this is a cool jersey that I bought I want to say 13 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. This would be the 2007 Manchester United jersey, and it's sick.
Sick.
When they were sponsored by AIG, it's the long sleeve, Wayne Rooney. It's a good jersey. I bought this. I went to see them play Liverpool at Old Trafford when I was in Oxford for a
Sick.
semester, and it was really a cool experience.
Well, congratulations on the bar mitzvah of your shirt, too.
Oh,
13th anniversary.
that's right. There
Very
you
exciting
go.
stuff, bro.
Yeah.
Very
Let's hope
fucking
it gets
badass.
plenty of cash.
Dude, we've been getting a bunch of messages about people. Yeah, hopefully your shirt will get a bunch of money.
That's my friends who were Jewish growing up would say that would brag about
How much money they got?
It was as if it was a wedding for children.
No, you're totally
in terms
good.
of everyone gave them cash.
My friends who from New York City too, who had bar mitzvahs, they are set for life from their bar mitzvah.
Basically,
like literally.
My friend
Yeah.
Ben, after his bar mitzvah, started researching the Mini Cooper he wanted to buy. And he was saving all of his bar mitzvah money for when he turned 16 to buy a Mini Cooper.
Hilarious.
And he had these magazines that were talking about the different types of transmissions and things, and he was pointing it out to me. I was like, dude, I'm still buying basketball cards. That's what I'm thinking of purchasing with the money I earned mowing,
Yeah.
Anyway,
I've only been to one bar mitzvah in my life.
I've been to so many.
Yeah.
7th grade was a big year for bar mitzvahs.
Yeah, there were no Jewish kids in my high school except Ethan Amarant. And I don't think I was invited to his. He must have done like a small operation.
That's sad.
Yeah.
That is sad.
Yeah.
I went
You
to
and Sam,
so many. They were fun.
They are fun.
It was just more dances.
Totally.
There was more chances to slow dance.
More chances of dances, baby.
And, maybe grab a little butt.
A little touche.
Yeah, slide your hand down the pants and smell the butthole.
Dude, bar mitzvahs. That's insane. Smell the butthole.
Yeah.
Bar mitzvahs were like the first time I realized that you can like hire a famous person for your private event. I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, I feel like Ja Rule has played a lot of bar mitzvahs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's those
Definitely.
guys who are kind of in the $15,000 range. You're not getting Beyonce, but you're getting Ja Rule.
right.
Or maybe some of the ASAPs. I don't
ASAP
know.
Nast.
Yeah.
I remember Jay Sean performed at someone's bar mitzvah.
What was his song?
Down, 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 down.
Oh yeah.
Down,
Yep. Mhm.
down.
Wow. So yeah.
That's the only word I know to that song is down. But it's
Yeah,
said
the Lil
quite
Wayne
often.
verse was pretty good. Time to me. She gets down low with me. Down for never tease about it. Yeah.
Dude, fucking sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. Let's do this.
Okay.
I started watching the Tekashi 6ix9ine
Oh yeah.
documentary.
So how familiar were you with that whole thing before you watched it? Okay.
Not. I had heard about he snitched on his gang.
Yeah.
Avoided prisons, and then was always worried he was going to get killed,
Mhm.
but was very loud and hired all this security. He's a internet troll. I had followed when he started talking about how certain artists were paying for their shit to get to the top of the charts,
Mhm.
and that it was all fake. I didn't understand him. I'd never heard his music. I just thought he was the most preposterous looking person I'd ever seen, but that was part of the gimmick,
Mhm.
and it seems as if he'd kind of gotten famous for just looking nuts.
Yeah, and just being like, "Oh, you got the fucking blicky." Like his rap is just him.
So I
yelling,
didn't
essentially.
know about that, but I'm watching this documentary. He's a pretty fascinating guy.
Yeah, for sure.
And the documentary is pretty well done. And frankly, Tekashi 6ix9ine is a guy who has totally outkicked his coverage in life.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, you were sort of wondering if there was a way for him to overcome everything, and it appears that even though, you know, he came out and like got a bunch of views on his IG live and like had a single that did well for a couple days, like people still, they're just curious about. They were curious, but people have written him off. They truly have. That single went from number 1 to like number 1,000 faster than any number 1 song ever has.
Wait, when did he come out with this? Was this a recent
Yeah,
single?
he and Nicki Minaj did a song. It must have been a few months ago. Yeah.
Really?
And it did really well for a couple days. I think more so because people were just like, what the fuck's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
But everybody has like written him off as a snitch.
Yeah.
Like,
So
dick.
the documentary gets into all of that. And, you know, this was a kid who grew up in Bushwick.
Yeah, you know
Brooklyn.
Mike Denny?
No.
He's a comic and he also makes music, but he used to go to the deli that 6ix9ine worked at.
He worked at a bodega.
Yeah.
And everyone knew him as Danny from
Yeah.
the bodega.
Yes.
He was very kind of, he was very garrulous. He would talk to all the customers, hold court in the bodega from his counter, and then was obsessed with getting famous. But had an undying belief that he would.
You're right.
And would stop at nothing. So once he came up with the Tekashi 6ix9ine brand for himself, he started tattooing it all over his face, dyeing his hair troll rainbow colors,
Right.
and then rapping like a true gangster. And the evolution of his persona and the blending of who he was as a person and letting the persona take over is what's so fascinating to me.
Interesting. That's an interesting
But-
element.
Dude, it's also, you know, he really leaned into the gang affiliation stuff and became a blood.
Right.
And I don't
Treyway
really-
stuff.
It makes me think that we could become blood because he sort of just surrounded himself by them and then had to go through the initiation. But it wasn't as if his parents were bloods.
Right.
He was not a blood. He just wanted to be one.
You can convert to bloodism the same way you can convert to Judaism.
Yeah, I think we could become bloods. I would imagine.
We'll have a blood mitzvah.
Yeah. We would be fun bloods.
Yeah, right? Francis, oh my God. Francis coming out with gang affiliation. Oops, the blood cast.
Yeah. Yeah. I would be a good blood. You know, I think I would help. I would bring some diversity to them.
Right. Insane.
They don't have one of me. I can tell you that much. They don't have me there. But here's my point. The Bloods thing, he joined this gang and they talk about how he did this music video with all these Bloods, and they showed up at his stoop to film, I think it was called Gummo.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a diss track against some other rapper he'd had a falling out with. And he bought red bandanas at the store and then handed them out to all these guys
Oh, right.
who were not planning to wear them.
That video's crazy, by the way.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck?
Maybe it was Gummo. It might have been the next one where he's on the stoop, right? And they're all just there behind him.
So many people.
But what's amazing was he wasn't a blood himself at that point. So he's among them. And then in the next video, he's gone through his initiation. And at that point, he starts throwing up the signs, which in a way, I guess, means he had earned it. But
Which he's legally no longer allowed to do. He's no longer allowed to say
Really?
gang stuff. And he's no longer allowed to do that as part of his court order.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But all of this is to say the initiation for the Bloods, it may not be this, but I've heard that this is an initiation for a lot of gangs. You need to just get beaten up for a minute.
Oh, really?
By
I've
multiple
heard
people.
different things about that.
What have you heard?
I've heard that you have to $150 someone. Do you know what that is?
The fuck is that?
That's when you slice someone's face. It's what happened to Doug Smith. It's called $150 because you need like 150 stitches roughly to repair it. and they slice your face open with a razor blade. And I've heard you're supposed to just do it to someone random. Again, this might be like urban folklore, but yeah, the idea of just having to be a young savage with no heart and have to do shit like that, it's creepy stuff, dude.
One of the best videos I've ever seen on YouTube is a short documentary. I would encourage everyone to check it out. It was about this kid who was really into skateboarding, and he would skate at the Barracks, which I think is a famous skate park out in California.
Where is it?
I would guess LA somewhere.
Right.
Anyway, I think it's called the Barracan Way, and it's this kid who got attacked by a fellow classmate who he kind of knew and was somewhat friends with, who shot him with a shotgun.
Jesus.
Because his initiation, all he had to do was kill someone.
Jesus.
You had to kill someone. You seen this? Shoot, you're right. I have it
Okay,
wrong.
so
It
Chris
happened in Detroit. Yeah.
Okay, so wait, so what Chris just said, it happened in Detroit.
Yeah,
Okay.
not LA. I had it wrong, but it's part of the Barracks YouTube channel.
Got it.
It's one of the craziest stories I've ever heard in my life, because this guy has no idea what's going on, and all of a sudden his buddy has a shotgun and is shooting him, and he gets shot a couple times, and he somehow survives it, and has to face the kid in court. All these different things. But these gang initiations, especially if the assignment is to hurt someone random,
It's
it's a
scary.
stranger, as a homework assignment, is so fucked.
I know. It's crazy, dude, because it's the same. It's the same kind of thing, like in The Vow, in this random way. It's like this collateral where, like, you can't turn back, and because they have dirt on you now, like you've now killed someone, you're in, but now you can't get out.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's funny how there's like different manipulation tactics that have things in common.
Do you think, if we were to say something insulting about the Bloods, is there a scenario where we would get on their radar and be a target?
Like maybe.
I'm not saying we are.
No.
No. All due respect to both the Bloods and the Crips, we have no beef. We like you guys, all of you. I keep doing it, whatever it is you guys are up to. That's all I have to say about that. I don't know where I'm at. I feel nervous now.
Now I feel nervous.
And I am wearing red. Maybe I have some blue somewhere. The point is, what would we have to say? What would we have to say where all of a sudden they would say, we need to go get these guys? Don't say it, but like...
We just have to hope that this clip doesn't go viral. I think if there's a chance that if you say some shit about the Bloods and it goes viral, like you could potentially like get yourself in trouble.
My favorite scene in the Straight Outta Compton movie is when the kids are on the school bus and they're throwing up gang signs to a Blood member who's driving by, and he stops the school bus, boards the bus, and counsels them to like do their homework. And I love that scene. Have you seen that movie, Straight Outta Compton?
Oh God, I haven't seen it now.
Giulio.
I know, I'm familiar with the story. I was an MWA fan. I watched a bunch of documentaries, and I'm like,
It's a sensational
it's
movie.
really good. I need to watch it, I guess.
Oh my God, it's so good. You've seen it, haven't you? What the heck? You guys.
Well, we gotta watch it. We'll watch it.
Did you think it was going to be corny? You just, one of those things that you both coincidentally missed?
There's something that bothers me,
Oh, it's so good.
I need to get over this, but there's something that bothers me when like they make a movie about something that I've always like been interested in, known about, and then all of a sudden I have like people talking to me about it as if it's a new thing. Like that bothers me. I know that's wrong.
Yeah, but there's an authenticity, I think, especially in that Ice Cube's son plays Ice Cube.
Certainly.
It lends legitimacy, not
That's
to
good.
mention Paul Giamatti plays the sort of evil, advantageous manager, and he's a profoundly good actor. So
He's great.
and then the whole cast is great. Dr. Dre produced it. It's really good, and the story is fantastic. You realize that these kids were they kind of just were figuring it out as they went along.
Right.
And they found immense success.
Right.
And the discoveries of Snoop Dogg, the development of the beefs,
Right.
and the
the West
Fishers.
Coast rap.
All of that
stuff
is really
stems
cool.
from that.
Yeah. I guess I need to maybe I need to apologize to the Bloods now. I don't want to. Tekashi was a member of the Trey 9 Bloods,
Right.
which was an offshoot.
Treyway.
Treyway was the label or the company that was started, but and then he snitched on them when
Mhm.
he got arrested for gun possession and stuff, and avoided jail time. But he's a very maligned. I mean, he's a bad guy. He posted child pornography of his buddies hooking up with a 13-year-old girl, and has done some really horrific stuff. So not a fan, but certainly an interesting figure who, if nothing else, understood the power of social media at a very early time. Just like many comedians you could talk about,
Right.
Dane Cook.
Right.
Tekashi understood I can gain a massive following, hundreds of millions of views on his YouTube videos.
Yeah. He was a big deal.
Yeah,
Pretty crazy, man.
but now he's nothing.
He's definitely shunned and scorned by the community, it seems, by the hip hop community.
Mm.
And to be honest, like the whole snitching thing, and maybe this is going to sound like stupid of me, but I don't understand. It seems like the same thing as like cheersing with water's bad luck. Like you just know that the guy who owned a bar made that up. The same way that like the guy who does illegal shit decided that snitching was wrong. If you're a snitch, that's fucked up, and then he'll just continue to do fucked up shit in the neighborhood.
Hang on, I need to understand
Was
your
that
point
confusing?
better.
Okay, so like being
yeah.
a tattle, obviously no one likes a tattletale, but like snitching, it can't be so black and white, in my opinion. Like it can't just be like, if you snitch, you're wrong. I get in this Tekashi situation, like he did all this fucked up shit, and then he snitches to save his own ass. I get how there's something wrong with that. But like, if I just live in a neighborhood and people are doing fucked up things, and I don't want those fucked up things to happen anymore, I don't understand how by like telling some authority figure I'm a bad person.
Well, that's
now.
two totally different.
They're not. It's
situations.
not though. But those are both considered snitching. Those
No,
fall
but
under the snitching. umbrella.
Fine, but here's why Tekashi's was so bad.
And I understand why Tekashi's was bad.
He wrapped himself in blankets of gang affiliation. He took advantage of it and promoted this idea that he was a gang member, that he was this. He used it in his music videos. He used it to elevate himself. He used it for protection.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second he faced any adversity, he just rolled over on them. That's a very different thing
Totally.
from some local guy going to the cops
Yes.
and saying, this is going on in my neighborhood.
Right, but that guy is still labeled a snitch.
Yeah, but I think that guy wouldn't garner as much nationwide.
Of course not. But within his community, he could really fuck himself over. For
Yeah,
doing
he'd
that,
be reviled for
you know,
sure.
Which doesn't make sense. That's counterintuitive to me.
But it goes back farther than that. It goes back to like organized crime and mafia stuff, and you don't you do your time. You don't
right.
snitch and then you get rewarded or while you're in jail, and it's loyalty.
Again, but if you're an innocent bystander, I don't understand how, you're scared because fucked up shit's happening. I don't understand how telling makes you a snitch.
Mhm.
Like you're just supposed to be selfless to illegal activity
Yeah.
that is threatening your life and your neighborhood. Like I don't really get that. And I get that how it's this thing. It's like the police are bad, then period or something. And I understand how some people can have that argument, I guess.
I think it's just a question of who's got the bigger hand in the neighborhood. Does the gang run the place, or do where are you better off placing your loyalty?
No, yeah, okay.
In law enforcement or in the gangs that run the streets or whatever.
Right.
I wanted to say though, but I'm gonna forget. I've forgotten already what I was gonna say. The last piece. Oh, it's this. There are so many examples of stupid sayings that have popped up that are meant to somehow be law. Snitches get stitches, right? Has turned into this thing that everyone says as a way of don't be a tattletale.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden we've codified that idea.
Right.
which is that it's wrong to tell on people.
And
right?
there is something about it that it feels wrong. Like nobody likes a tattletale.
No, of course
And
not.
that's fine.
But in the same way, and have we talked about this? Guy code?
Yes, a bit.
We talked about guy code and how
Yeah.
stupid it is.
Well, but it isn't necessarily stupid. Like guy code. You tell me
That
something.
there's somehow a law of, you're not supposed to hook up with your buddy's girlfriend. We talked about it.
Right.
But it's like, where are these laws? They're not laws.
Right.
Those aren't laws.
But I mean, yeah. But there's
It's just don't be a dick.
Right,
Don't be a bad
right.
person. And if
Right.
you are, then you're a bad person. It's just morality.
Right.
Everything boils down to you. That's how it is. Anything that's not in written law, in terms of there will be a punishment with a defined sentence for that, and everything else is just up for interpretation.
Right. No, dude, totally. And I know that the cheersing with water thing is like not an extreme example, but like
That's superstition.
That's a stupid superstition.
Yes.
Like that just sounds to me that some guy who owned a bar made that up.
What are superstitions you actually believe in?
I'll give you one. I don't walk under ladders, even when it's a half ladder. Chris has seen me do it. I won't, like, if there's a half ladder on the sidewalk, I'll walk in the street around
What's
it.
a half ladder?
Like, it's not a full, like, triangle ladder. It's just one ladder. So you're not even technically
Leaning
walking
up
under-
against the wall.
Yeah. I won't walk underneath
I'm
it.
going to be honest with you. I would consider that a full ladder, and I would consider a step ladder a half ladder.
Interesting. Well, good. So maybe you're reinforcing my superstition.
The ladders that you lean up against a wall to go, fetch a cat from a tree or to paint the sill of a window from the exterior, those are big boy ladders.
Big boy ladders.
Whereas the step ladders that you unfold,
They can be big too.
they can,
But yes.
but they don't extend.
They don't extend like a big boy.
Firefighters don't use step
Right,
ladders.
right.
They use big boy ladders.
Big boy ladders. So yeah, dude. And I don't love when a black cat crosses my path. I'm not going to let it ruin my day. I try to avoid that. And I don't like the idea of breaking a mirror. Besides that, that's pretty much it for superstition.
Breaking mirrors, for some reason, it does feel awful.
I don't need any ominous shit hanging over me.
Do you avoid stepping on cracks?
No. Do you?
No.
You seem like you're not superstitious at all.
Look, if I break a mirror, then what? 7 years of bad luck? Do I mark the date on the calendar when I'm free?
You could.
Am I keeping my head down for 7 years?
You could.
I mean, if that happens, you just got to do your best, because that's such a long time.
It's such a long time.
So I'd prefer not to think about it.
Right. Same. And I think that, like, the same way I don't have any desire to talk to a psychic.
No.
Because I don't believe in it, but I also don't want that person in my head and start thinking about
Exactly.
that bullshit.
Exactly.
Dude, you want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
One of our listeners emailed us this. She's going to Korea.
Hmm.
This girl's name is Soo Young.
Okay.
She's going to Korea, and she was saying that in Korea, as a COVID measure, you have a designated person. And this person could be your neighbor, but you're supposed to either wave at the window to them to show them that you're isolating,
Yeah.
or you call them, and if they're not home, you're supposed to report them.
Yes.
What an interesting
Yeah, there's
system.
a lot of
Have you heard of this?
well, it's definitely the kind of citizen vigilante watchdog situation that
Empowering the people.
yeah, but dude, historically, I mean, that has been a bad trend. Now, granted, Korea's doing, I think, very well with COVID,
Mhm.
and there's a reason why, but
I see what you're saying, though. When it comes to Nazi Germany,
it's
and
almost
stuff, yeah.
it's almost a
It's a bad
McCarthyism.
principle.
I'm reading right now a book about, and I'm not even going to remember what it's called, but about an American family that goes and lives in Berlin as Hitler is rising in power,
Oh, wow.
but before the outbreak of the war. And it's the same guy who wrote the book about the serial killer at the Chicago World's Fair,
Oh,
the
cool.
one that everyone loves.
I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're
I
talking
can't
about.
remember the name of it. Garden of Beasts, I think is what it's called. It's quite good if you like history. So they talk about the amount of German citizens who were snitching on each other.
Mm.
And they were calling in so many complaints of this person's showing, communist tendencies,
Right.
or they've said something against the
government.
administration,
Right.
that the government stopped believing people.
That's crazy.
They actually they weren't even, they were like, this is the 50th time you've called us today. And people were starting to do it just as petty revenge.
Right,
for
to like
small
get back at
things.
people.
And they were just lying.
That's fucked up.
And so they lost their credibility, which is in a way, I mean, I'm not defending fucking Germany, but like, thank God.
Right.
Because, otherwise you're rounding people up based on the accusations of somebody who could just be mad that you dated their daughter.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why,
by enlisting regular citizens, you run the risk
it's
of
like,
that kind
it's
of thing.
Karenism taken to the highest extreme. Which
Karenism.
is really not good.
Those are very
Dude,
funny.
I have a very funny, I do these alternate side parking
I do indeed.
videos. So I posted one last week, and I got a number of DMs that were pretty insane from them, but I got one that I think is worth sharing that it blew my mind.
Please.
So it's from a woman who runs an account, and all she does is post houses, pictures of really cute houses, quaint houses. And I liked the houses that she posted so much that I followed her back. But it's only houses. It's not her.
Okay.
And so I got a DM, and she wrote, "I'm not even trying to come on to you, but I just want to say that I masturbated through your whole Instagram TV segment of alternate side parking Thursdays. It was a refreshing change from the usual Pornhub. 6 out of 10 would recommend." Now, I didn't like this.
6 out of 10 stroke.
No, I didn't like this DM because I liked the houses. And now I can't look at the houses the same.
Yeah, you can't.
You ruined a good thing for me. Now I'm either thinking that the houses have some kind of fetish for me, or that it's turned into this thing that I liked, and now I can't like it because it's just a woman masturbating to me talking about parking.
Turned into the ASMR parking daddy, dude.
And I don't know how to deal with it, man. It fucking bummed me out.
Dude, that's awesome.
So out of left field.
Dude, that's a great DM.
And by the way, if you're masturbating to me, that's not 6 out of 10.
There, the truth rears its ugly head.
Anything that makes me masturbate, that's got to be, 60% credit? That's it? Get out of here. I moved you to touch yourself.
The same way you moved your car.
You're not giving me a C average for that. I don't know.
Dude, I have a question for you, and I don't...
Hit me.
You may not want to answer this. I don't know why masturbating made me think of this, but it's a related topic. And bless that person's heart who sent that to you, by the way.
Yeah, good for her. Sure.
Good for her. Unbelievable.
I don't even know what she looks like. Just houses. Maybe she's just a home builder.
Maybe she is.
Some
She's just a developer.
Burly architect.
Many different interiors to masturbate to alternate side
lays
parking.
down roofing. Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry. Do you have like a manscaping routine?
Oh, good question.
And is this like the new skincare routine? Hey guys, you've asked about my manscaping routine.
Yeah. I think manscaping is one of those things that I think 10 years ago was a little taboo. Maybe 15 years ago was a little taboo. And then the metrosexual movement happened. And even that was parodied and satirized.
Right, to the point where that's actually like a term parents use now.
Yeah, nobody would talk about
metrosexual.
that.
Like my dad would say that.
We've moved so far beyond that. That was the earliest iteration of Arnold Schwarzenegger's Girly Man. Right.
I was
and now
gonna say
we've
that.
moved so far. We've got like, saying that someone has a gender is outdated.
Right.
And there was this Logan Paul thing of Harry Styles, one of the singers from One Direction, did a Vogue cover where he's wearing a dress,
Mm-hmm.
and people were up in arms. Ben Shapiro and his cronies were saying like, this isn't manly. And then Logan Paul in his podcast, one of his buddies was like, bro, it ain't manly. And then Logan Paul was like, that's so old, outdated of you to say that. And they sort of had a little bit of a tiff. Kevin Clancy at Barstool had a great take on it, which was, guys have been wearing dresses for so long. Crazy celebrities. Well, Dennis Rodman,
David
Shock
Bowie.
Factor, David Bowie, Prince.
Young Thug.
Like, do we
more recently?
Yeah. Do we care? Who cares? Why would this ruffle your feathers? Why are people reacting now to Harry Styles? Since when did we expect him to be, some beacon of a beard and chewing tobacco and lifting weight? He's not. Does Harry Styles strike you as the guy who's scratching his balls and betting on the Texans on Sunday? No.
Definitely
it's a British pop singer. Of course he's going to wear a dress. I'm surprised he doesn't wear them more often. All of that is to say that manscaping is something that I don't think is weird to talk about at all. And
normalizing manscaping talk, baby.
I let's think. I don't like pubic hair, but that's only because I don't like hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because I don't trim my pubic hair because I want my dick to look bigger. It's because I don't like hair.
So what's walk us through the logistics? Like, how do you do it?
I've got a sort of a trimmer and I take it in pretty close, but then I let it come back a bit until I don't like it anymore, and then I go back and do it again.
So do you ever cut yourself? Like the problem for me
very careful
is that I can cut myself and it makes me want to ignore those areas. But I would really like to not ignore those areas. I would like to be able to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if maybe I just need new tools.
There is a tool, but I don't want to give free ads. I don't. There's one that it doesn't. It's not the side that it's not the sideburn trimmer. It's not your beard type trimmer. It's more like the thing that at a barbershop occasionally they'll use to shave your neck.
Oh, okay.
It's got a flat, sort of rounded top, and there are no blades going back and forth.
Got it.
That thing is
fantastic.
Very good.
Ooh,
yeah.
Off air, I'm going to need that.
That's what you want. And then, as far as my body hair, I always shave my neck. I can't stand having neck hair.
Dude, you're clean shaven like a dad.
Well, I don't like beards.
Like you are every single time I see you, you're clean shaven. Can you grow a beard easily?
Oh yeah, I grow a very good beard, and
How
I'll show
fast?
you pictures.
It would take me
very good beard. Yeah,
like after a month and a half, I would have nothing close to a beard still if I didn't touch my face.
I would have a good comprehensive full beard in 2 weeks.
Crazy.
Connected, dense,
full ass.
Almost where you'd start to need to trim it at that point.
Where you just look like a guy who fucking cheerses with a mug.
Yeah. Here, let me show you. I'll come up with some pictures. I'll find some pictures of when I had a beard. I've only really grown a beard one time in my life, dude. And the thing was, it's so itchy for me until I finally break through that phase. And it takes me 2 full weeks and it's miserable.
Really?
It's so miserable how itchy it is, dude. I can't even describe to you how much I can't stand it. What's up? People have said that. Dude, I was doing everything. I was conditioning. I was in Florida over Thanksgiving, and I was going into the ocean and grabbing fistfuls of sand underwater and then using it to exfoliate my face because I was so uncomfortable.
That's crazy.
I was doing everything I could, and it was constant. And then finally, one day, it didn't bother me anymore. I got to that point. And it was fun experimenting. I had it for a few weeks, and then I got over it and got rid of it. One of the things it does, dude, is that it softens your jawline. And I like my jawline. So By
having facial hair?
Yeah. It obscures the lines of your face. It rounds it out. If you have a shitty jawline, I totally understand people who want to grow a beard. But no, I'm not saying you, Chris. Some people look better with a beard. I wouldn't have said that I looked better with a beard.
The chisel, bro.
I'm trying to find this picture.
The chisel is real. It's okay. Dude, How much money do you spend on your haircuts? How much does your haircut cost?
It's $50.
That's like a kind of a lot, right?
It's kind of, I would say it's like upper middle. Yeah.
I spent 65 on one the other day.
That's a lot.
And they fucking ambushed me. Like,
Yeah.
I usually go there, I walk in, it's 30, which is like fine.
Mhm.
But because I booked it online and picked my person, it
Mhm.
made it 65 and they didn't tell you. Isn't that bullshit? I was like, fuck that. Oh, wow. That's crazy, dude.
That's me with beard.
Francis. You just look like your name's Seamus. Bearded Francis. That's a crazy pick.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a fucking
That's the
beard
real
and a
deal.
half.
Yeah. Yeah. I look, my mustache is quite light. There you go. Look, this is, you get a better sense there.
Yeah, looks good.
It was fun around Christmas time.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
look.
Around Christmas. You
Well,
got it.
speaking of the holidays, we want to take a second to, everybody who's having an unusual Thanksgiving this year, they didn't get to be with their family and didn't get to do it normally. We feel for you and hope that you're making best of the day anyway.
Sure do.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's tough.
Yeah. Lots to give thanks for on Thanksgiving, even in these somewhat troubled times. Everyone said it. This massive second wave of COVID, even though it's many more cases as we head into potential lockdown situations again, much more manageable in my mind.
Since there's just like a rough timeline for an ending, it makes it easier.
Well, to me, it's more like we've done it once.
Oh, that too.
And so
That too.
the uncertainty is far less.
That too, yeah. It's like we're used to it.
The
It was
first time we
unprecedented.
went through this, it was scary as hell.
Yeah.
We didn't know what was on the other side or if there was another side.
Right.
We didn't know if life would just continue forever
Yeah.
with COVID. And then the summer landed, cases receded, people went outside, life was relatively normal.
Mhm.
And then now we're back inside, second wave, cases are very high, and people are at least in New York, it seems, they're dutifully accepting the reality. They're not angry about it. We're going back in. People are not having big parties. You hear about a few here and there, but it's not a fuck you. I'm not gonna play along.
No, totally.
It's
Totally.
all right, fine. Here we go again. Get dust off the board games. Get a couple bottles of whiskey. Make sure you're stocked up on your weed, and you're good to go. Let's have some. We've got good shows to watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Have you watched the show The Undoing?
I am caught up, and it is excellent.
I'm enjoying it too. And it's funny. It's one of those shows. So basically, I'm not to spoil anything, but it's basically a show where, in this married couple,
Yep.
the man ends up not being who he seems like he is.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that as I'm sitting there watching that with my girlfriend, I just feel this risk of her somehow taking that out on me.
100%.
I feel like I did something wrong.
100 fucking percent. When we watch shows where the man cheats, I feel guilty.
Yeah, I suddenly am like a bad guy too.
I feel, and I even think I kind of overcompensate by being like, what a dick.
Right, I just start being really nice.
I start shitting on the guy.
Right.
Like, how could he have done that?
No,
you
totally.
know?
That's one way to do it. Yeah, my way is more to just like act like I'm in the doghouse. I'm like, babe, like I'm just like being all affectionate and like.
Do you
touching
say
her
I
and
would
shit.
I would never do that?
Yes,
You
I
do
start-
that?
Yes, I start being like, I could never do that.
But see
you
that-
know me, you know me.
That seems more suspicious to me. If I'm your girlfriend, I'm like, I'm worried about that.
Totally. And honestly, she's not actually holding anything against me, but it just becomes one of those things where like I somehow feel like
No,
self-conscious.
I think this is true for a lot of men. I think a lot of men watch infidelity scenes portrayed in movies and TV and feel nervous about it.
Yeah, totally, dude.
Yeah, because it's raising the spider sense of your girlfriend or your wife or whatever.
Yeah. And dude, honestly, like, and I think that one of this reminded me of this, but I think one of the main appeals to not cheating is that once you're a cheater, you start thinking about everyone else as cheaters.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like not worth it.
Yeah.
Like the second you cheat, you're forever just going to be more suspicious of other people cheating.
Right.
And it's going to be much harder for you to have like a trusting relationship.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that.
It's a loosely related concept.
Yeah.
But definitely a thing.
But it is a very good show, and if you haven't watched it yet, I think I'd like to spoil here. So let's say fast forward 30 seconds if you're keen. Hugh Grant. First of all, Nicole Kidman is spectacular.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got to be, in my mind, like the most automatic success in terms of casting that I can recall.
Yeah, she's solid.
Next to like what Tom Hanks, anything she's in is just incredible. Have you watched Big Little Lies?
A little bit. It's really good. Yeah.
God, it's good.
Yeah.
You know, she's just so good and so stunning for so many years.
Totally.
And couples that with immense talent as an actress, great singer too. So she's brilliant, but it does have that the Night Of feel.
Totally.
It's a New York City gothic, you know, wealthy sort of murder mystery that relies so much on the city itself as a character in the show.
Right.
I love the soft focus shots that they use when they're coming into, you know, a street or a skyscraper or something.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's really great. I'm excited about the show. Unfortunately, we caught up pretty quick. Do you have the ability to parse it out?
Well, I was a couple episodes behind. What do you mean parse it out? Like,
Can you say like we're only going to watch one episode tonight so that we have one episode to watch tomorrow?
I don't have that.
Nobody has that.
And I wish I did.
Yeah.
But there's times where I'm like so tired that I'm falling asleep and I'm not even enjoying the show anymore and I keep watching.
Oh, that's abuse.
That's terrible. I know. Well,
That's
dude,
just self-abuse.
I was thinking though, you know, if it made me think, and we're talking about adultery and cheating and all this stuff. If you're planning on cheating on your wife, I just think the way to do it, you need to make sure you wear your bird dog's pants, dude.
Yeah.
Because you don't need extra underwear lying around. You don't need, with bird dogs, they have a built-in silk lining. You don't have to worry about underwear.
Yeah.
You do the deed and now it's a one piece, boom, back on. You don't got to worry if you left any.
And we don't mean to advocate cheating. That's not what we're saying. But we're just saying that if you have to. The bird dog's pants are the best pants in which to do it because the underwear comes off with the pants. So there are fewer barriers to entry, which means that, you know, you're getting the deed done in the 15 minutes that you're theoretically at your doctor's appointment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's sad, but true.
And if you get to the point where, you know, for example, her husband comes home and you hear him walking up the stairs.
Baby, I'm home.
Yeah, you don't got to do that thing where you start looking around the room and grabbing all your shit. You throw on your fucking bird dog's pants.
Yes.
And you can comfortably and effectively sprint away.
Yeah,
he won't be able to
shimmy
catch
down the rain pipe out the window. They are by far the best. They're sleek pants that are there. They don't catch on the rain pipe as you're shimmying down like a fireman, like a naughty, cheating fireman.
Yep, and you'll slide down that pole like that naughty, cheating fireman that you are.
Yeah,
and sprint home, and the nice silk lining will keep you cool, so you won't even be sweating when you have to talk to your partner.
Yeah. Now, look, worst case scenario, you don't gather your clothing in time, and the husband bursts in. What the hell? You will have your trusty nunchucks to fight him with, which you will get if you buy a pair of bird dogs right now. Birddogs.com. Use promo code OOPS. You'll get a pair of nunchucks with those pants or shorts.
Fucking love it, dude.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh.
Well, dude, we got some good emails.
Let's dive in.
As always. So one thing that I want to mention is that we get a lot of messages from people, and, you know, some things like are either just, we obviously have to pick which ones we read. So we're not going to be able to read them all, but if you email us, we will respond.
Yeah,
we're happy to give advice. We're happy. You know, so if you actually sincerely want advice, feel free to email us too. We enjoy that.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I don't want to say what I was going to say. It was going to be mean.
So I thought this is an interesting thing, this email that we got from this guy, and I'm be curious to see what you have to say about it.
Okay.
Hey guys, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. When I was 18, I started seeing a girl from my high school. One of the first nights we were really beginning to be an item was at a party at her friend's house. Everybody got trashed. And the girl who threw the party revealed to me that she and my girlfriend had a threesome with a guy from school.
Ooh.
More specifically, someone I played soccer with on the school team.
Good for a soccer player.
At one point earlier, and this happened at one point earlier in the same year, That kid and I were close friends, and I even remembered him mentioning both of the girls' names to me at one point way back, but not thinking much of it. Fast forward to the night of that party, and I was told in very graphic detail the act that my girlfriend and former close friend had performed together. In my drunken state that night, I was able to brush it off, but for the next 9 months of our relationship, it was something that ate away at me in the back of my head. We eventually split for unrelated reasons, but I was interested to see your thoughts on this one.
Yeah.
I thought
There's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Lot to unpack here. So the first thing that's astounding about this story is that there was an 18-year-old who had a threesome and then didn't tell people about it. What? An 18-year-old soccer player was discreet about the threesome that he had?
Dude, yeah, that's true. And it sounds like he even did allude to the friend about it a little bit, but it should have been a thing that everybody knew about. That's a newsworthy seeming thing.
Oh my God,
that's
dude.
huge. That's
what
huge.
kind of a man is able to keep that secret at that age?
I know.
Was he a fucking rock star?
He's a legend.
Was that his 5th threesome? I don't understand how you keep that in at that age.
Right, which should make our friend here even more insecure. This guy's just like having threesomes on a Tuesday.
He said he casually mentioned her name and the guy didn't connect the dots. It's like, yeah, I know that girl.
I had a threesome, yeah, you know, Caso.
Dude, if you had a threesome and then later on mentioned the 2 girls, but didn't tell me you'd had a threesome with them, and then after that I found out, I would be angry with you for being so cool about it.
I know. It's a hard position for the threesome participant to be in.
I would be angry that you had been that, like, you had been that cool, that much of the man that you were like, oh yeah, I know those 2 girls.
Right.
And like, you know them because you were in them. Like, that would anger
It's hard.
me.
I know. And in high school, when it's such a small knit, everybody knows everybody knows everybody's business. That must be a tough position to be in.
Yes.
Not to mention, like, as an adult, that would be hard for me. No one would ever fucking bring that up, hopefully, in adulthood.
No.
Like, oh yeah, I had a threesome with her. But
Right.
it would certainly make me insecure.
Yeah.
Knowing that.
So beyond that, I'm impressed with this guy that he was able to continue to date the girl for 9 months after finding that out.
Yeah, that's not a young man's game to be able to do that.
And when you're 18, you
can't
break
handle
up
that,
over the dumbest shit.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big morsel to have to digest.
As an 18-year-old.
That is swallowing a multivitamin with no water. It is not going down easy. That is lodging in your throat. And every time you see her, every time you see him, you are thinking about it.
Yeah, totally, dude.
And let me ask you this.
Sure.
Would it have been easier, like, let's say you're in the boyfriend's shoes. Would it have been easier to handle knowing that it was a threesome or that just the 2 of them had sex?
Definitely the 2 of them having sex is better than the threesome. Is that what you're asking? Like, which one would you rather know about? If it was a threesome?
Yeah.
Or if it was just he and her?
Yeah.
I definitely prefer that it was just he and her to the threesome.
Why?
Because the threesome is like some shit that you're not going to get to do with her, probably.
Uh-huh.
Like, that was different. Like, that was her being fun. And, like, this is now a different thing. And, like, that guy was the man and, like, got to use this girl who you love for fun. And, like, he doesn't even fucking care. He wants you to be cool with him. He's like, dude, like, you know, this happened before. Like, my bad.
Right. He downplays it.
What do you
He's
think?
Like, no. Well, I'm just playing devil's advocate, but I don't know if this is my stance. In a way, the other girl being there is somewhat of a buffer. It kind of deflects it a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is something crazy that these 3 drunken fools did together.
Yeah.
And
No, you're right. That's true.
Who knows who was the driving force?
That's interesting.
But I don't know.
It's a good point, but I still stand by what I said, but I hear you.
The hard part for me, certainly at that age, would then be that I knew my girlfriend was open to threesomes, given that she'd had one. And then all I would be thinking about was how to try to do it with her and someone else as well.
So that's a good point. I have never been able to handle that idea. I'm not interested in having a threesome with my girlfriend.
No, nor am I.
But maybe at the time it's a different story.
Nor am I.
It's too stressful.
But at 18, you know.
Yeah.
I think even if I thought the girl I was dating was someone I was going to marry, which, you know, would have been a foolish idea, but if I was that deluded to thinking that, if she mentioned a threesome, I'm still going there.
Yes, fair.
I'm still, my brain is just like, what? Really? How'd that happen? Yeah.
Dude, so I met this girl. We were talking about the Jane Hotel the other day. This was kind of like both of our go-to spot to go out at one point. I wonder how much overlap there was. I imagine we've been in the same place together before we knew each other, which is fun to think about. But I met this girl who was a little older, and we started like hooking up for a little bit. And she told me this insane story. When she was in college, her and her boyfriend and another couple all took a bunch of Molly. And at one point in the night, she looks over and her boyfriend is just making out with the other girl.
Oh my God.
They're all four of them are in a room and they just start making out. And her boyfriend takes that girl into the bedroom and they close the door.
Oh my God.
And now she's just sitting and looking at the other girl's boyfriend and they're like, well, I guess we're going to. So then they went into the bedroom and had sex too. In the morning, the boyfriend who initiated all this storms into the bedroom, goes up to the guy, punches him in the face.
No.
Everybody breaks up and no one ever talked again. I was like, what the fuck? That's the craziest shit I've ever heard, dude. Isn't that crazy? Isn't
all
that
right.
nuts?
So does that mean that the boyfriend, the catalyst, just forgot?
He must have woken up in bed with the other girl. He must have. I don't understand where he gets off thinking he now has earned the right to punch the guy in the face.
I've done Molly before. Not many times. I think 1.5 times.
Same, actually. 1.5.
Yeah.
I know what the half means. You're like drunk already and someone just gives you a little.
Well, it was the first time I did it and I was kind of scared.
Gotcha.
And I didn't do very much.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know that the second time I did it, I did the right amount and it was so much more intense that it made me look back on the first time as kind of a failed
attempt.
effort.
Interesting.
But I still felt something.
Right.
But the second time was like, oh, this is how this is supposed to work. Anyway, I've done Molly 1.5 times. Neither time would that have happened.
Right, I know. Crazy.
Neither time. I remember the second time I did it. I was very touchy-feely, but almost I hope in a adorable way.
Right.
Like I wanted to hug people. I
Right.
really wanted to hold hands with people, women. I really wanted
That's
to hold
interesting.
hands with the women who were there.
They say that happens.
Yeah. Fortunately, there was a girl there who was like, you know, kind of into me. So she was willing to like chaperone me.
Gotcha.
And so I wasn't just spraying my hand holding shot all over the bar. But, you know, she was kind of like giving me water and stuff and
nice.
all of that. Yeah.
How sweet.
Yeah, it was great. It's fine. It was fine.
Fantastic.
But you know, it's one of those things where like everyone I was around had done it so many times and I was such a newbie and I was a little self-conscious about that.
Gotcha.
Because
like in the aftermath?
you know, because you're acting like everyone remembers the first time they did it, and for them it was like 8 years before, and they've just been mollifying their brains.
Dude, the same way when the little brother comes to college and he's like, I love you guys, man.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, buddy.
You're like, let him have it. Don't spook him.
Yeah.
Don't act that cool. We were all there.
Yeah.
And they tried, but I was so late to the Molly game that like nobody really had the time for it.
Yeah.
So
Fair.
I'm not a big Molly guy.
Yeah.
I think all it took was that ridiculous, whatever it is, metaphor of it's an ice cream scoop out of your brain. Who knows if that's true?
No, I've heard stuff like that.
It's
intimidating.
Everyone's heard that.
Yeah.
And that image of taking an actual ice cream scooper that you'd find from an ice cream parlor,
Yeah.
where they're elbow deep in the freezer cabinet. And they're trying so hard because the ice cream's not soft for them.
Right.
And so they're really, really
They had to
using
wet
their elbows.
the scooper.
Yes. and then they have to click the thing on the side
get it.
into the cone with such pressure that the cone crumbles. All of that happening to my brain. I was like, God, I've got fucking spelling words to memorize.
Not to mention that the scooper could scoop a large percentage of your brain,
Huge.
you'd have to imagine.
Certain ice cream parlors were very liberal with their scoop.
Very much
What
so.
kind of scoop are we talking about? Are we talking about a Cold Stone Creamery scoop where they're smashing shit into it and folding it over and all that? Or is it some wealthy gelato fucking classy joint where they're just giving you only the top of
Right.
the, an exact scooper and charging you by the scoop?
Dude, by the way, Cold Stone has reminded me that gummy bears are a terrible ice cream topping.
What a disgusting thing.
They just freeze. And then you're just fucking got frozen fucking, I don't know.
You'd
Sorry,
have to
that's
be
random.
the people who like the people who like gummy
Cold Stone
bears
reminded me of
in their the people who like gummy bears in their ice cream, I think are the types of people who I don't really know
Who
what
believe
it
in
would
aliens?
be. Yeah, sure. Or like, refuse to pay their student loans. I'm not really sure who it is, but it's not the type of people that I tend to associate with. It's really mean, but
It's just not, it's not. And I think that that's one of the risks of like one of those places where you assemble your own sort of dessert,
Mhm.
like a yogurt place, 36 handles or whatever it's
God,
called.
just put 45 things in by the
Yeah.
time
It's-
you get home, and you can't even decipher what you're tasting.
Yeah, dude. Like you're eating like banana cream pie, chocolate, and cookie dough with fucking
Disgusting. Peanut butter sauce.
peanut butter sauce and Heath bar and gummy
that's
bears.
half the cup, and then on the other half you went fruit,
Yeah.
and then that doesn't blend at all.
Yeah, you're with your friend who's like, bro, didn't I do a good job? You're like, dude, that thing looks like a fucking Jackson Pollock painting.
Yeah. It's like when you're a
disgusting.
kid and you think getting a soda and you go to the soda fountain, you mix cherry Coke and orange Fanta and grape soda.
You mix
and then
them
you
all.
try to get your mom to taste it and she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it's brown.
Yeah. The fact that it becomes
Oh, it's
brown is
brown.
fucking whack. I will say this though, man. When they started rolling out the Taco Bell cantinas, there's something fucking lit about drinking a Baja Blast and vodka. Did you know you can do that?
I don't know anything that you're talking about.
Baja Blast is a Mountain Dew flavor that's exclusive to Taco Bell. I
Okay.
used to like Taco Bell a lot as a kid. I don't fuck with it anymore. But going to that Taco Bell cantina in Vegas, getting a Baja Blast with vodka, that's a turn up time.
Got it.
I don't know.
I have never eaten Taco Bell in my life.
I used to eat it like 2 or 3 times a week.
No.
Never in your. Yeah, I used to really love Taco Bell.
I
It's
have
so
never
fucking
eaten
good.
it. I've never eaten Taco Bell because it seems like poison.
You're probably not wrong.
How many times can you hear the joke of like you get diarrhea every time you eat it before you're like, well, then I don't need to eat it.
Dude, my dad will call me and then he'll be like, "Oh yeah, first of all, my dad will just call me and start ordering mid call. He's like, "Yeah, oh yeah, Giulio, yeah, hold on one second." He's can I have the two gordita meal with a Diet Coke? And then he goes, "See, I'm getting Diet Coke." I'm like, "Dad, you're the most delusional. Like, what are you doing at Taco Bell? Gorditas, they're lean. It's a fried shell. Like, it's the most disgusting shit you can order." By the way, we've been getting a lot of emails about requesting my dad on the show. One of these days,
I want to meet him.
we'll get him
wait
on
to
here
meet him.
when
Yeah.
COVID clears up, and that's a cool move.
Hell yeah.
We'll get him on here.
Well, G, it's been fantastic to be here with you today. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Why don't you take us out of here and wish the folks well?
Happy Thanksgiving to you too,
Yeah,
and
man.
Chris. Thankful for both of you guys.
Yeah.
Thankful for all our listeners. Thank you guys for listening and being with us. Send us your emails. Send us your thoughts. We love hearing from you. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel. All of our episodes are in their full form on YouTube channel with video. So, check that out. People have been watching more and more of that. Besides that, he's at Francis C.C. Ellis. I'm at Not Julio. Enjoy the holiday weekend. Stay safe. And thank you. Guys, if you like this video, we got plenty of other videos. Just click and subscribe and check them out. Thank you very much.
Oops.